Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenore and today I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Virgo. If Virgo is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so our card is the Aeon. Okay, and let's go ahead and take a look and see what these tea leaves have to say. And so if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. All right. We have some really powerful looking formations here. And so also, if you'd like to hit the little like button or leave a comment, please do. If you are new to the channel, definitely shout it out in the comments. Okay. All right, so I want to start where we began. And the first thing I really noticed, a person standing here, a person with their arm out, and then a person over here. I almost imagined like kind of holding a flower out for somebody to smell, right? So this to me brings kind of feelings and imagery of courtship, of bringing some beautiful, wild flower or a rose from the garden or whatever it is to your beloved one. And I do feel like there is a sense of harmony here in your kind of romantic or amorous sectors. Now, it might be that you are somebody who is solo, right? You might not be in a relationship or have any desire for such. This doesn't have to be a manifest person. It doesn't have to be a person at all, right? This could be something that you love doing. It could be something that, a hobby, your work, places that you like to visit, whatever. But also, it could be your interior beloved. Now you might say, what is this? Kind of a concept that is, it's found in most religions if you really look. But in things like Sufism and courtly love and Jainism and Gnosticism and esoteric Christology and so on. There is this idea of what Jung calls the anima or the animus, and this is the other part of ourself, right? This is the kind of, and it is gendered, but it is the other, if you think of it like elementally, right? The balancing element. And so, it's also depicted in things like alchemy as like the sun and the moon, right? Two opposites attracting. So this is the part of ourself that mostly dwells in our interior spaces, in our dreams, in our kind of fantasies. And, if you are somebody that partakes in imagination work, active imagination, or many of the other techniques, this could be kind of who you envision holding that kind of most sacred love. Also in the work of the saints, right? Teresa of Avila is one that I bring up a lot because she speaks a lot of agape and the belovedness of her relationship with spirit, with the divine, with Jesus and in relation God. And so this could definitely be that, where you are at a place where you are kind of courting your spiritual element. And finding a great balance there. Now, this also could be quite literally a manifest person, right? You're in a place where you're very in love with them. And I feel like this brings a lot of confidence to your life, Virgo. A lot of like feeling, balanced, and there's a fortitude. There's a good foundation to not only your spiritual life, but I feel in the mundane as well. Like the household is in order, right? Now, that being said, we have next to it a person who is riding on a horse. You can see it almost reminds me of like the helmet of a samurai. Kind of a interesting and ornate armor and helmet and everything. So I do feel like this is almost kind of the imagery of somebody getting ready to go off to battle. Okay, so I do feel like there's something rising in your life that is not going to be real easy. This is something that, maybe you've been putting it off. Maybe it is something that's come out of nowhere. Maybe you have been planning it, or maybe this is, like I said, it's just like a big surprise and you have to go into immediately figuring out how are you going to protect you and yours, So this is in relation to something in the physical world. I don't think this is like a spiritual attack necessarily, although it can have, reach into that realm for sure. I think this is something going on in your life, okay? This might be work related. It might be related to the home. Now, I don't think coming from the interior, right? This isn't necessarily fighting within, the family unit, like a spouse or with children or, whoever lives with you. No, I feel like this is something from the outside, okay? And so there's this feeling of like packing up, getting on the horse and going off to battle this thing. And I do feel like this is not necessarily the worst time for it, because you are feeling spiritually, emotionally fortified. And as I said, I feel like there's a good foundation in the physical world. So I do feel like you have, support, you have the ability to kind of process whatever's happening. It's not going to overcome you. I don't feel this energy of just kind of spiraling out, because it is so stressful. Okay, I think you're gonna get in there and do the thing, get it sorted out, and take the lead as to how things kind of proceed, which is definitely a Virgo trait, right? We maybe aren't always like in leadership, but we're kind of often the leader that's behind the leader. You know what I mean? Like we're kind of the old man behind the curtain from Wizard of Oz. So definitely in control of things, running things, getting things done. But it's not necessarily going to be smooth sailing. There's going to need to be some kind of mental gymnastics, and it might take some time. But you are fully equipped to deal with this, okay? And we will just kind of turn this way. So now when I looked at this, and I want to pull it away because sometimes it looks a little different. I feel that, well, we have a tornado. It looks like a tornado. It also looks like we have a wind spirit, okay? And we have the Emperor over here. So it's just kind of, to me, reiterating this energy of being the decider, really, being the one that kind of takes up the responsibility to decide what are we going to do here, you know, and who's going to be the one to kind of, you know, what's the word? Be the representative of the family, of the situation, right? And I think that's you. I think absolutely Emperor energy all around. So being there to like kind of show up and take the meeting, or, you know, make the call, or, you know, to be the one that kind of goes into negotiation about something. And I don't, you know, I think that this is maybe something you don't love doing all the time. I think that, you know, it's something that maybe brings up some anxiety for you. But once you get in there, you're so good at communicating and being persuasive, but also compromising, right? You're not so rigid that you won't, you know, give a little bit. So I think that, you know, I'm thinking in my head about like that imagery of like a cowboy using his lasso to grab onto the tornado, right? And taking it under control. So to me, and then we have the wind spirit up here, right? Which I think isn't Pazuzu, or is it Azuzu? I always forget how you say his name. I think he's a desert god or demon, however you look at it. But I think he was the wind one. So anyways, that's just me thinking out loud. I do feel that, yeah, there's like a real strong airy energy this period of time coming up. And it has so much to do with logical thinking, with figuring things out in the practical, planning, right? And you know, going into the situation, it might feel like it could be hostile, but then when you get in there, it's like, okay, well, let's figure this out. Let's make this work. Let's make a plan. And it ends up that, you know, maybe whatever you're dealing with, the person maybe doesn't know you, or they don't realize, they don't know that you're very intelligent. You're really good at looking at the variables, the circumstances of something, and making a plan, you know, some kind of system of getting this done. How will this work? And usually pretty successful, right? So I think that you're a really good collaborative partner on things. I mean, very, very, you see things that other people don't notice, right? You take into consideration a depth of data. It's not just what's on the surface. And not only that, Virgo people are very intuitive. So that ability to kind of analyze data and be intuitive, it's a knockout, right? So I almost feel like it's like you come into the situation and you just immediately start sorting it, right? And the anxiety of the thing is blown away into the wind. It's taken away. And I feel like you come out of it feeling even more confident than when you started, because you figured the thing out and you're going to make it work. Okay. So this is going to be a win for you ultimately. Now it might not be immediate, but it will be the beginning of this movement. Now we also have a little wizard down here. You can see the arms raised, the little hat, it looks like a beard. We also have another person holding up something that looks like a potion bottle or something along these lines. Now, I do feel And let me just also say, we have 2 horses without riders. Okay. So kind of this wild horses just running, you know, being free, being strong and wild and beautiful. So I feel that through this ability to navigate these situations that arise in your life, it just confirms your ability as a magician, as the architect of your own life. I feel like you come into an alignment here where you're very aware that you are not only a part of, you are woven into the fabric of reality, of the universe, of being, but you also have an active role in creating your own reality. Okay. So I feel as you come into this confidence, there is such a freedom. And I feel like it just promotes inspiration. It promotes that love and bond with the muse. And I can see you really getting into a place of building in your life, you know, where maybe you've been kind of sitting on your laurels a little bit, waiting for the things to come together in such a way, or maybe you've just kind of been worn out, exhausted by life, and then this shift comes, the winds come in and mix everything up, and here you are in your power, and you are building, and you are creating, you are going on to that next big thing in your life and beginning that journey, that project, right? So I feel like if you are thinking of manifesting something, if you are thinking about starting something or kind of going down a new avenue, do it. Do it now, because this is the time. This is the time where you're going to make the best of what you have to work with. And I feel just the continued success, right? And so, yeah, I feel like this is a time of happy changes, a happy kind of resorting of things. Okay, so down here I want to look, we have, it looks like a G. We have a big G right here. We also have an E over here. Now those might not go together. They maybe do. Maybe it's initials or something. Now we also have, now I'm trying to look, where did we see that? I have an 8. There's an 8, oh, and a 3. There we go. The 3, important, and the 8 over here. Okay, so we have a 3 and an 8. Those are important numbers. All right, we're going to check out over here. What do we have going on this one? So we have a 6. Maybe it looks like 5, 6. Actually, what it looks like is 1556. 1,556. So that is a big number there. We have a person, we have a butterfly above their head up here. We have the person beneath. We have, it looks like 2 little baby deer, maybe a mother deer or father deer up here, and 2 people talking right here. Okay. So I feel like in this time, you will be communing with somebody in your life who is quite spiritual and helps promote kind of a spiritual environment for you. I don't think that anybody creates your spiritual environment. That's you. That's all you. But I think this is like a person who you can really talk to about deep things. You can relate to them on a level you don't with most people. And I think it really gets you into this mindset of participating in your spiritual or religious work. So, or magical or occult or esoteric work, whatever you want to call it. And so I think this is an important bond here. Okay. Also, we have the deer. So the deer are the most sacred, well, they're not the most sacred sign, but they're one of the very sacred signs. And to see them as babies, and then we have a parent up there, it feels like a renewal into your spiritual life where maybe it has been lacking a little bit. Maybe you have been so busy or just kind of, disengaged. You're just not really, there's a disconnect. But I do feel like there's quite a return to those spiritual principles, those religious principles. So maybe you've been taking some time off of going to church or mosque or temple or wherever it is. And now you're going to start going. You're making time. You're making sure your schedule is open on those days. This might be that you are partaking in celestial, events and movements, aligning these with your rituals and feasts and things. Sometimes we miss a few. We just, we don't have time or we forget or whatever. I feel like there's quite a return there. Okay. And with that butterfly, we know that is all about self-evolution, the metamorphosis that we go through. We continue to go throughout our lives. So very, I think, focused on kind of developing self, right? The human development, if you will. And so let's go ahead and take a look at our divine doors. Okay. I'll just flip through. I'll go ahead and it says, Divine Guardian, do not be nervous. Today or tonight, the path you are on will lead you just right. The path you are on will lead you just right. All right, Virgo, I'm going to go ahead and tell you I love you because I do, and I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. And if you would like to leave a comment, I would love to hear from you. I read them all. If this is your first time or you are new to the channel, shout it out in the comments. All right. Once again, Virgo, I love you, I love you, I love you. Take care of yourself. We'll talk soon. Good night.